Hello everyone, my name is Derek and welcome to the Netflix Knowhow, the review show here to help you stop browsing and start watching. Today we are going to be taking a look at the low-budget disaster flick Ocean's Rising, the food industry commentary Okja, and the short biographical parody Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal. So wrangle up your pigs and get your Trump cards ready, it's time to jump on into the Netflix verse. First up is Ocean's Rising, an action and adventure movie directed by Lipsius and starring Jason Tobias and Summer Spiro. The Netflix synopsis reads, when an evacuation order comes too late, a deadly hurricane claims lives and leaves Tampa survivors to battle rising waters with scant resources. Wait a second. Sci-Fi Channel presents an Asylum production. It's bad, guys. It's really bad. So a little background on me. So I used to work for this tiny little store called Blockbuster back in the day after I graduated from high school. Boy, that sure does age me a bit. I watched a whole lot of movies while I was there, and I kept noticing a certain production company that kept popping up on the new release wall. Transmorphers, The Day the Earth Stopped, Snakes on a Train, The Land That Time Forgot. The Asylum is a knockoff company. A really bad one. So that's who we're dealing with here, and surprise, surprise, it's a steaming pile of I'm gonna start with the good first. The actors are trying? I mean, considering that the dialogue sounds like it was copy and pasted straight out of a science level doctorate textbook, I have to give credit to the actors for at least trying to make it sound believable. What else? The poster is cool. I mean, seriously, look at this thing. Look at it. I think it's safe to say we know where all of the production budget went. And yeah, that's about it. I know the synopsis mentioned something about a hurricane or some nonsense, but no, that's not right. Here's a better summary. Science babble, breakup, fast forward, water, more science babble, sandbags, the sun is hot, water, babbling of science, black hole, let's get back together, water. Did I mention there's science babble and water in this movie? They should have just named it Bad Times with Smart Water and at least tried to get a product deal out of it. The writing is bad, the characters are bad, the pacing is awful, the effects are laughable, the continuity makes no sense. Everything about it is just plain bad. Tell me this, how do you make a disaster movie and then feature maybe 10 minutes of footage tops of actual disaster happening in the movie? The real disaster here is that this company keeps getting money to make these terrible movies. I mean, I get the appeal of campy, low-budget sci-fi fantasy movies, but this isn't even fun. At one point, I actually took a detour to the bathroom, and when I came back, I saw that I still had over 30 minutes of movie left. 30 minutes? You've gotta be f***ing kidding me! Thumbs down. Just play the thumbs down thing. Next up is Okja, a Netflix original action and adventure movie directed by Bong Joon-ho and starring Hyun, Tilda Swinton, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Paul Dano. The Netflix synopsis reads, a gentle giant and the girl who raised her are caught in the crossfire between animal activism, corporate greed, and scientific ethics. You know, I could be a vegetarian if cows didn't taste so gosh darn delicious. There's a whole lot going on in this movie, so I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown of everything. The world is facing a food shortage, so this mega corporation called Mirando genetically engineers these super pigs to help fix the problem. They hold a contest where they ship off 10 pigs to farmers around the world to see what local methods of raising them produces the best pig. Flash forward 10 years, and we meet big ol' piggy Okja and her human companion Mija, only for the Mirando Corporation to swoop in and reclaim its porky property. What follows is a chaotic chase around the globe as the Mirando Corporation, the Animal Liberation Front, and poor little Mija all clash over the final fate of Okja. Thematically, I love what this movie is getting at. Okja is a pretty blunt commentary on the state of the food industry, our relationship with our food, and the ethical matter of how we treat animals. But at its core, Okja is a story about the bond of friendship. It's a bond between a human girl and a giant pig that's basically just a glorified hippo, but it's still a genuine bond. I know I made a joke in the beginning about being a vegetarian, but I actually really do love animals. They are just as capable of experiencing all the joys and pains of life as we are, and that includes developing strong emotional bonds with us. If you've ever had a pet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are a lot of troubling things that go on in the food industry, particularly when it comes to the treatment of animals. I appreciate that this film tackles these problems pretty head on. On a side note, if this is a subject matter that you really care about, go watch Food Inc. It's a documentary film that covers this subject matter wonderfully. Most of the things that Okja is subjected to by the Morando Corporation are pretty horrendous. Even the way that the Animal Liberation Front uses Okja as just a pawn in their political agenda is actually pretty gross. Mija seems to be the only one that cares about Okja as more than just a simple object, and that's a connection that you can really feel throughout the entirety of the film. Unfortunately, as much as I like the ideas and themes explored here, the actual movie is kind of a mess. Because there's 3 distinct perspectives, the film is constantly jumping around between all 3 of them. It made it really difficult to get a solid footing in the story because there's so much going on and we're constantly shifting between all the different sides. I get that Mija's story is supposed to be the backbone of the film, but there's so much time devoted to everyone else that it honestly kind of feels like she's just a background detail. The fact that there aren't really actual characters to connect with doesn't help matters either. The Morando people are just a bunch of greedy corporate jerks who only care about face and money. The animal people are so blindly driven by their agenda that they forget how to act like compassionate human beings. Mija is honestly the closest to being a fully developed character, but even then, all of her dialogue is a bit... Oh my god, say something else. Interestingly enough, Okja herself is actually more compelling than any of the human characters. Maybe that's the point, but it definitely doesn't feel like that was something that was done on purpose. This is honestly a really tough one for me, because I really like the themes and I really like the ideas, but the actual structure of the story is just so needlessly convoluted and confusing. Thumbs up for concepts, but ultimately thumbs down on execution. Finally, we have Funny or Die presents Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal, the movie, directed by Donald J. Trump, starring Donald J. Trump, and officially approved as a tremendous movie by Donald J. Trump. The Netflix synopsis doesn't matter because this is a great movie, and you will feel great watching it because only a loser wouldn't want to watch this great movie about the greatest man in history ever because Donald J. Trump is just pretty freaking great. Totally serious, you guys. So this is a short parody movie by Funny or Die. Whether or not you like it is going to very much depend on how you feel about Donald Trump. As for me, I think he's just great. So I enjoyed this movie. I mean, I understand a lot of people won't, but it's not my fault they don't know how to take a joke. As one would expect, it's basically just the same joke that everyone has been doing for, what, the past year now? I like it. I mean, it's no Alec Baldwin Saturday Night Live impression, but for what it is, I got a laugh out of it. Of course, this was made before he actually became president, so the joke is now significantly less funny and a lot more troubling, but... details. You know, I almost feel like the Trump in this movie is more articulate and level-headed than the actual Donald Trump. Not that that's saying much. A rabid honey badger could achieve that. There isn't really a whole lot to say about this thing. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, and you probably already know which side of the fence you fall on for this. I will say that I really liked the style it was made in. It's modeled after one of those late 80s, early 90s 1-hour specials, and I definitely think they nailed the look and feel of it. You can almost smell the cheesiness oozing through the screen. Although maybe that's just Donald Trump's natural odor. I'm not entirely convinced he's not just a radioactive Cheeto that grew legs and learned how to make sounds that vaguely sound like words. What I'm saying is, watch it with a bag of Cheetos. Or whatever. Thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. If you've seen any of these movies or you have any suggestions for movies for me to do in the future, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. And as always, if you want to know your flicks, you know where to click. Happy hunting, guys. See you next week.